Hey, I'm Jay, and you're listening to Mindset Monday, a new series on the More Than podcast created to be the perfect dose of inspiration and motivation while giving you tangible tools to shift your mindset in a more positive direction. After all, your life is only as good as your mindset. I'm so glad you're here. What's up, fam? Welcome back to Mindset Monday. I am coming to you live with my yellow nails. If you don't know about this saga on my social media or not, I was at the nail salon yesterday and asked you guys what color you thought would be best. And there was an overwhelming response in the beginning to do this butter yellow. Well, instead of picking out butter yellow, apparently I did highlighter yellow, and they are, to my surprise, glow in the dark. So I'm happy that all of you got as much of a kick out of that as I did, because this is now becoming my entire personality and occupying way too much of my brain. So we're going to shift our mindsets all together and try and think about something far more positive than my nail dilemma. And today I want to talk to you guys about doing an audit of your life. I realized yesterday that we are 6 months into the year already. I feel like it was January, like yesterday. And the more I talk to friends of mine, I realize that the older you get, we all bond over the fact that time is flying and we are all exhausted. Those are two things that we all have in common. And it's so easy, if we're not intentional about slowing down and actually taking control of our lives, to just let life pass you by. It's something that we all feel in different seasons. If life's moving faster, other times it's moving slower. But for many of us, we feel out of control. And let's face it, there's a ton that's out of our control right now, but you actually have way more control than you even think that you do. It just takes intentionality and slowing down. So doing this mid-year audit is going to help you divide your life into categories and see what's working for you and what's not working for you. Because if you're in a place right now that you don't feel fulfilled, maybe you feel stuck, maybe you feel overwhelmed, maybe you just feel unhappy and you don't know exactly why, it could be something as simple as one category in your life is just out of balance, and you need more time and attention into that category to make your life overall happier. Every single one of you listening to this podcast right now has the exact same goal. We want to live a fulfilled and happy and healthy life, but we don't know the steps to get there. So I'm going to walk you guys through an exact process on how you can do this mid-year audit. And my team and I are creating a PDF download that's going to be free for you guys. If you go to the link in our bio, you can sign up and it will automatically send you this PDF download to help walk you through every single step of this audit. So make sure you are paying attention, because I'm going to walk you through this, and I'm willing to bet it's something that you've probably never done before. Every year when it comes to December 31st, I like to sit down and do a year in review and go through what was working for me that year, what didn't work for me, how I'm feeling, and what my goals are for the upcoming year. But even for me, I'm somebody that's regularly checking in with myself. I lose track of a lot of those goals, or those lofty overall goals that I said I wanted to achieve. I haven't created actual steps to achieve them. Now, I mentioned in our very first Mindset Monday episode that a goal without an action plan is just wishful thinking. And research shows that 92% of us that make a goal don't actually achieve that goal. And that's because we have these overarching goals that are so lofty that we haven't broken down the little steps that we're in control of every single day that can help us achieve that goal. And then we get so overwhelmed because it feels so far out of our reach, when in reality, you're so much closer than you think you are. So walking through this process and becoming really intentional about working towards these goals and doing small daily actions is going to be life-changing for you guys. So when I say a life audit, it sounds real official, and I want you to make it really official. I want you to dedicate at least an hour out of your day. I recommend doing this in the morning or at night. Go into a quiet space where you're not going to be interrupted. Grab your coffee, your tea, your glass of wine, your beverage of choice, put on some really soothing music, grab this PDF download and a journal. You're going to want to really focus on this time and dedicate this time to yourself. But the key in this is removing the emotion and removing your excuses. Excuses can be the driver of our life and can quickly turn us into victims of our own life, because excuses are going to be something that are always there. There's always going to be a reason why you're not achieving your goals. Actually writing them down and taking the emotion out of it helps you to avoid those excuses and to just not give any more energy or any more time into them. So you need to be really honest with yourself during this and actually write down facts. So I'm going to dive into how you can decipher between emotions and facts here in just a second. But when I say life audit, think of it almost as like a spring cleaning, but we're doing it more for your heart, your mind, your body, your soul. We are taking those goals that you said that you had in the very beginning of the year, and we are tracking your progress and seeing if we've worked closer to achieving those goals or if we're further away from achieving those goals. And it's also a really good opportunity to review what is right now and what could be. Like I said in the beginning, we have a lot more control than we think we do. And doing something like this brings that to our attention and gives us a little bit of power back instead of feeling like we are constantly victimed to our emotions or to our anxiety or to our to-do list or to the people that are relying on us. So just take this dedicated hour minimum to yourself. In order to get the most out of this process, I want you to be brutally honest with yourself, because it does take a lot of courage to reflect on the areas that maybe you're falling short. Maybe you're overwhelmed by excuses. Maybe you're playing it too safe, or maybe you set really unrealistic goals. Being honest with yourself instead of taking this time to, again, make excuses or get upset with yourself, like that's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to make progress. So you gotta take that emotion out and you gotta be really honest. At the very top of this sheet, you'll see that I ask you to pick out a word for the rest of the year. This is something I do every New Year's Eve, is I come up with a word that I really want to embody in every decision that I'm making, in who I am as a person. And this year for me, it was intentionality. So as I'm going through this audit, intentionality is at the forefront of my mind. So pick out whatever word is going to really resonate with you throughout this audit. And then we're going to divide your life into categories. So I'm going to list out a whole bunch of categories right now. And I want you to decide 6 of them that really resonate with you. So these categories are going to be your physical health, your mental health, your confidence, your personal development, your friendships, your romantic relationships or your marriage, your family, your career or business, your hobby or passion, your finances, your faith, your home or your environment, and adventure and travel. Now, I know I just hit you with a whole bunch of them. That's why it's so helpful to have this PDF download. But pick out which 6 of those resonate the most with you and are categories that you really want to invest in. So for mine personally, I have health and wellness. I have relationships, which also encompass family relationships to me. I have my marriage. I have my personal development. I have my career and business. And then I have my home and my environment. The first steps is, once I've figured out these 6 for me, I write them down. And then here's the most important part. You are going to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. So 1 to 5 indicates that this area of your life is not serving you at all in this season and hasn't for the last 6 months. 5 to 9 is going to say, it's serving me a little bit. It's bringing me a little bit of contentment, but it could be better. And 10 is what we are all striving to achieve. Every single one of us wants to live a 10 out of 10, very fulfilled, happy life. And if we're being honest, that's a very hard thing to reach, but it is attainable for every single one of us. And it's okay if you notice that while you're doing this, that some areas of your life are closer to a 10, where other areas are a 1. I heard Lauren Bostic say on a panel that the days that I'm an incredible businesswoman, I don't feel like I'm a good mom. And the days I feel like I'm a great mom, I'm not an incredible businesswoman. Those things aren't always in balance, and doing this audit allows you to see what's out of balance. And I don't want you to be too hard on yourself if you're noticing that some of those areas are suffering because certain areas that are more important to you are taking the priority and are working their way to a 10. That's a good thing. So take the bottom 3 categories and ask yourself, do these 3 categories really matter to me? For me personally, the bottom 3 were my business, my career, my health and my wellness, and my relationships. And I realized that the things that those all had in common was the investment and the time that I was making in myself. My business wasn't thriving as much because I was spending too much time bogged down by things that weren't really serving me, the back end stuff, the stuff that doesn't come naturally to me. So I wasn't investing as much time in the things that I'm good at, the things that brought me joy. So from there, I was able to see, okay, what 3 things need to change? What can I control right now? One of those main things was finding a team, hiring an employee that is good at the things that I'm not so good at. Having that in my life helped enhance not just the business category, but it also helped enhance my relationships, because now I'm able to spend more time with the people that really matter to me and invest more of myself into them because my time isn't being used up so much in business. So you'll see how they all kind of play into each other, but how 1 or 2 decisions that you make and start working towards these goals once you break them down can change everything around you. This intentionality is key. Now, the reason I say I want you to break it down into 3 categories that aren't serving you as much and then come up with 3 daily strategies to enhance those areas of your life is because our brain handles information in pairs of 3. It helps with clarity, and it's something that doesn't overwhelm us. So I really want you to stick to these 3 because it will make this whole process so much easier for you. So take those bottom ones, be super honest with you, remove the emotion from it. Factually, why aren't these 3 things working for you? Once you have the facts written down, look at it almost like you would be giving advice to your friend or to a family member or to a business colleague. Factually, this isn't working and this is not serving you. It's not bringing you joy. What are 3 things that you can do today and then implement every day that will change your overall feeling of that category so that eventually it can become a 10? I know for a lot of you, I hear that you don't love your job. And that's a very valid thing because the majority of our days are spent working. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's very easy to get bogged down in so many other areas of your life. So factually, let's see what needs to happen. Do you need a different job? If that's the answer, then what 3 things can you start doing today that will prepare you for a different job? Is that updating your LinkedIn? Is it asking someone to coffee that's in a different career field? Is that going back to school? Is that going to a specialty program? What needs to happen so that eventually you can achieve that goal of having a career or having a business that serves you? If you're finding all of your fulfillment, all of your purpose, all of your worth into what you're doing every day, it's a really big indication that you need to invest more of your time and your energy into pouring back into yourself because your priorities are misaligned. You cannot get purpose from what you are doing in your career because that's going to ebb and flow. It's very similar to the feeling of motivation. And you're going to be feeling very motivated while you're doing this audit. You're going to be writing down goals. You're going to be saying all these things that you really wish to achieve. But let's face it, motivation is a fleeting feeling and it's not going to show up for you when you need it the most. And that's why you really need to focus on discipline. Discipline is doing something whether or not you feel like it. And if you can grasp the fact that you're going to have a lot of resistance in making these daily changes in the beginning, and that doesn't mean it's wrong. That doesn't mean you're on the wrong track. It doesn't mean it's too hard. It just means that's a normal part of making progress. expect resistance, and have the discipline to show up to do it anyways. And eventually those things will become a habit. Now, you guys know I am all about habits, especially when it comes to your morning routine, your evening routine. And that's an entirely different episode because I know that's something that a lot of you need work on. And we eventually can do it so that we are talking about an audit of your habits, because habits ultimately define who you are. But this life audit is such a good starting point because it's going to give you so much information that you need in order to make actual sustainable changes in your life. So let's say health and wellness is something that you really want to invest more in because it's in the bottom of those categories. And you want to feel better in your body. You want your mental health to be in a better place, or you have a goal that you're training for. Say you want to become stronger, you want to be able to lift more weight, you want to train for a marathon. Okay, those are 3 things that you want to work on. Now let's break that down as to what 3 things can you start implementing every single day to help you get to that goal. If you want to get stronger in the gym, that means you have to show up and go to the gym to get stronger and consistently lift those weights. If you struggle getting yourself ready and out the door in the morning, what can you do in the morning to set yourself up for success? You can wake up a little bit earlier. You can have your workout clothes right next to the bed. You could have your water bottle, your caffeine, whatever you need, ready to go so that first thing in the morning, you get up and you're out the door. It's setting yourself up for success by breaking down that bigger goal into small, manageable steps that ultimately, if you do them consistently enough, they become a habit. And then it's something that you don't even have to really think about anymore. Once your habits change, so much of your life changes. And I hear a lot of people say that they're overwhelmed in life, or that they feel stuck or lost or just unhappy in a certain area, but you don't have an actual area that you're pinpointing as to why you feel that way. This exercise is so helpful because maybe now you can see like, oh, I'm actually not unhappy overall. I'm just unhappy in my career. And if I make a couple changes, then every other part of my life is really working its way to a 10 out of 10 life. And I'm on the right track. Or maybe it's everything else is going really well for you in your business and in your health and wellness, but your relationships are suffering. If you start pouring more time and attention into those relationships, then suddenly every other area of your life comes into balance. Like I said in the beginning, we can control so much more than we think we can. So taking some of the control back through doing this exercise is going to lead to so much more freedom. So make sure you go to that link in our bio and you get the free PDF download. Enjoy doing this life audit and take it seriously because it really can realign you and help you work towards achieving those goals and achieving a life that actually brings you joy and fulfills you. If this episode resonated with you, please make sure that you are following the More Than podcast on Apple and Spotify. Make sure you've rated and reviewed it. Tell us your favorite part on our last Instagram post, and I will see you next week with another Mindset Monday.